Two people are joining.
ठीक है, हम वहाँ ऑलरेडी पढ़ा रहे हैं अभी।
ठीक है। हाँ? क्या बोला? पकड़ेगा तो हाँ। और okay, so we face some technical difficulties, so we have to come over here on Zoom. Now, put it in the chat if you can hear my voice, and let's do it for one thing now, and then ask another question. Can you all hear my voice? You can put write down yes or no on the chat box. Of course, if you can hear, then you have to write yes. If you can't, then there's no choice. Can you hear me? Can you hear my voice? Okay, if you can hear me, then you can write yes in the chat box. Well, that's great. And can you see my screen, laptop screen? Okay, that's great. So we're gonna wait for like maybe 2-3 minutes, and then we will start our session. So because of some technical difficulties, we started a little late. Okay, so today's session, we're gonna discuss about the power of meditation, and I hope it's a very big topic because we generally do it as a course. So maybe we're gonna complete today, or maybe we have another session. Like in the first session, we had 2 parts. So today I'm gonna discuss the basics, the foundation of meditation, and then there are 2-3 demonstrations in that. And it is the first time I'm doing it online, because generally I used to do it in the live audience because you can control the demonstrations and all. So in today's session, we're going to discuss the foundation, the basic philosophy of meditation and the origin, and then types of meditation, and then we may have second session for that. So the theme of the sessions is first is the need. So first topic, mental well-being, mental health and well-being, is about the need of meditation. Then what science says about meditation and the benefits, like why to do it. These two topics discuss why of meditation. Okay, and then we're gonna define meditation, and we're gonna also get a little bit deeper into different types of meditation. Then the fourth topic is, of all different type of meditations, we're gonna focus on the mantra meditation part. Now we're gonna discuss, have demonstrations of others in third theme also. So, and then later on we're gonna switch to mantra meditation, and then the fifth topic is quite advanced because we're gonna discuss about the role of mind in meditation, and where it can create problems, where it can support you. So, and how to deal with your mind. And the sixth topic is how to like master this thing, because many people, they start their journey in meditation, they just start from a YouTube video, they hear somewhere, and then when they start and they fail in the beginning, they stop it. So that's what generally happens. Like, people have all kind of weird ideas about meditation. Now some people, they just think that you have to be like, there are totally, like, in today's world, in current scenario, you can like relate meditation to anything. And people have all kind of weird mythological ideas regarding meditation, what meditation is and what it is not. So we're going to discuss all those things over here. So although it's a 6 session journey, but we're going to compress it into this maybe 1 hour or maybe 2 hours, if we go for part two. Now I may try to master discuss up to third session in today's session, and maybe next session the last 3 parts. So that's our journey will be for this session. And if you want to go deeper into that, then we have another course, like meditation course completely. It goes in detail about these principles, which we're going to discuss in today's session and in the next session. So before starting it, I want to know, what is your idea about mental health? What do you understand by mental health, or mental fitness, or mental well-being? So put it in the chat so I will get to know. What's your idea? What does mental health means to you? Okay, state of our mind which links to our emotion, having positive thoughts. Okay, that's great. What else? So let's go a little bit deeper into that part to how that is defined by WHO. Now, WHO defines health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It's like generally we have a notion which they say, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. We generally have this conception that mental health means, if I don't have any disease, that means I'm healthy. No, it's not. So mental health is more than absence of mental disorders. Like, some people have their idea that if I'm not weird, if I'm not crazy, then I'm healthy, right? So, and second thing we need to understand is mental health is an integral part of health. Generally, in today's world, people are realizing about it, but most of the time we find, just it's a common scenario in India, they are completely unaware of mental health. They just focus on physical health. That's it. Now, we need to understand that mental health is an integral part of our life. So, you can't have better body without better mental health. If you are not mentally strong, your body will deteriorate and you will face problems in your physical body also. So that's what we have to understand. And then there are certain statistics now. Some of them are global, and we're gonna go a little bit in the next few slides into Indian or national stats also. Now, 33% of the teenagers, they are stressed out because of social media. Now, if in the current scenario you can't imagine that, now that's what is happening in the world. So 33% of the teenagers, they are just freaked out or stressed out just because of social media. Now, the likes they get or not or don't get, and the shares and all these kind of things, they stress them out. And about 20% of the Americans, they admit that they are under constant stress. Constant stress means always. They find while sleeping also they find nightmares and all these kind of things. They are under constant stress. Now, generally, why stress is a big problem? Because when, like we discussed in the previous sessions also, when we have stressful scenario, stress is constantly building up in our mental resources, then our mind makes our brain shrink, because of that stress your brain or your body will release cortisols, and cortisols, they generally shrink our brain. And when your brain is shrinking, you are like it's deteriorating your body also and your mental capacity also. And according to current neuro research, doctors have demonstrated that our body need at least 90 minutes, or you can say about 90 minutes on an average, to recover from a stressful situation. Now, can you imagine just one stressful situation will be resonating in your body for 90 minutes? It takes 90 minutes to recover. Now, there is another contradictory fact. Uh, According to neuroscience, they say that any feeling or any state, well, they call it state, means like sometimes we are confident, that's a state. Sometimes we are stressful, that's a state. Sometimes you are angry, that's a state. So they call these things as states, and we may know them as emotions. Now, according to neuroscience, any emotion that doesn't last more than maybe few seconds. Now, the question is, we have experienced those things. Like if you are angry, you see that you are angry for few minutes, maybe for an hour, or maybe more than 1 hour, for few hours. Now the thing is, we are experiencing one state for longer time, and here also they say that your body requires 90 minutes. And another research in the same area says that a feeling or a state just lasts few seconds. Now, how does it happen that it goes to such a long state, and we feel emotions for such a long time? Now, they answered it that generally what happens when that emotion or that state enters, then we keep on resonating with it. It keep on oscillating inside us, and what happens finally is we generally we keep that state inside us. That's what generally happens. So whenever we find a negative state or positive state, we keep on thinking about it, or you try to resist it. Either you like accept it or try to resist it. In both the cases, you will face the same situation. It will last longer, and that's what happens. Stressful is a very we resist it, and because of that, 90 minutes it takes. Now, let me show that in the whiteboard. Well, okay, we can discuss later on. Let me go with the current scenario, current PPT. So, about 23% of the high school students, they admit that they have skipped a meal because of stress. Now, you may have done that the same, because like in the exam time, you find different kind of stressful emotions. Like in the beginning time, I was having in the school time actually. So sometimes there are different ways by which your body expresses these things. Now, some people, they have just a clenching feeling just a stretched feeling in the stomach, and some people, they have like this kind of butterflies going on in the stomach, and some people, they don't feel hungry and all these kind of things. They do happen. So these are the symptom of stress on your body, right? So so around 23% of the high school students, they are not like college students, high school students. And you may have seen these things in your life also. And then 550 million workers, oh, sorry, 550 million working days are lost every year due to stress-related absence from work. Now, a person finds himself in stress and he doesn't goes to the work. And then stress caused by loud noises cause approximately 3,000 deaths every year in US. Now let's go to national statistics. Now, before that, let's go to the country statistics. So, United States workplace stress is very high. UK is 58, Germany is 60, and Australia it's quite less. And India is increasing. It has gone up to 46%. Now, and with these days, things are like getting worse. So, we are also advancing in the stress related problems in the world. So, that's what is happening in these days. And in India, these are the statistics from 2015 and 16. Now, 80% of the employees they are suffering from stress at work. Now, 80% is much worse situation because if you have 80% of the population suffering from that, then you can't expect having better future because your current scenario is worse. So, if the stress level is around 20 to 45 or maybe 50, it's acceptable. But 80% is way high. And 60% of the employees they want to quit their jobs due to workplace stress. Can you imagine 60% of the people they are being forced to do their job just because they are in like some kind of problem, like they need money or they have certain other things going on in their life, and that's why they are just trying to go through their job experience. That's it. No happiness, nothing. Now these people when they are frustrated in their jobs, they are the people who like do mistakes when they can't handle the stress. Now you will find in current scenario many people they got placements. Engineering students they generally got placement, and then you will hear like if you have discussions with your seniors who have got placement, then you will hear one scenario. Many people say in my engineering days I used to hear it a lot that they will give you a placement and then they will kick you out after 6 months, right? So even after getting placements, we were like kind of perplexed whether we will be able to continue or we will be kicked out, right? So generally what happens is workplace is totally different from your college life, and what happens in that situation you need to produce results. Now in college life it's fun, it's easy to produce results when you are in a fun loving funny environment, right? Funny is a kind of like any environment which you like, right? Now when you are in a stressful situation, most people they break down, they can't produce the results required at that time. Now working in stress is an art because it doesn't require your IQ, it requires your EQ, and EQ is emotional quotient, and along with that you need spiritual quotient because when stress is there you need the ability to put it out or keep it aside till the time you are working. And that's what we call like we have a session how to thrive in stress, right? So generally engineers they have some experience because they are generally engineers, they study in the last days only and they score good. So generally they have some experience, but that situation in the workplace it's way different, and that's what we need to understand. And in India the situation is worse because the working environment is not very good. So 1 in 2 employees suffer from anxiety and disorder, right? Now just imagine 50% of the employees are in depression or anxiety, and 90% of the employees they are interested in to participate in corporate stress program. That's why when we go to corporate programs, they are very easy to accept the things and follow through the procedure. Like we gave you all were given assignments, but you didn't participate that much in the exercises. But they do. You just tell them what to do, and they will like one time I went to a company and they asked me that they want like a feedback like how to grow and a strategy to improve their workplace culture. And I gave them exercise of around like to answer around 75 questions around. And they just did it on the spot. Like 50% of the employees, they did it on the spot and they handed over it to me. So that's what we need to understand, that they can really understand the situation, the gravity of the situation, how to overcome these things. Now, statistics in India, there are different kind of stress issues. Now you have like a disrespect of at workplace. That's very common. Then overtime, lack of work-life balance, no constructive feedback from the manager. They generally like yelling at them or not giving them proper feedback. Then participation, lack of support, inadequate income. So these are the different issues which create problems, stress for people who are working in India. And we need to know that because you are going to be there in that environment after some time. So that's what we need to understand. And these things, they matter a lot, right? And let's go further. Now the next theme is we're going to discuss now about the scientific result, the benefits, what science says about meditation. So the first thing is the benefits. Now if you have ever tried meditation, then some of the things which you will naturally like, these are the benefits I've taken from scientific papers. If you want, I can provide that. So generally, doctors have researched it for decades, and because spirituality is a very big mystery for them, so they generally try to uh, find different ways to research their lifestyle and along with that their practices, so that they could get the way to use those things into day-to-day life for common people, right? And that's what spiritualists, they also do the same thing. They also teach these things to the common people. Like this course, I brought all the spiritual principles, and like we have a Eastern practices of Indian practices and your day-to-day lifestyle, which is generally Western. So a combination, a hybrid approach to get the best out of both worlds. That's what we need, right? Because anything which doesn't help you to improve your life, your daily life, then it's not worth learning. So we need to understand these things. So let's go deeper into that. So first thing is a boost in happiness by increasing positive emotions. Now many times, like we have discussed few of the things, few of the strategies in the previous course sessions of the course about thinking positively and how to like motivate yourself. But the thing is, some of the things you need to practice, like meditation is one of such practices which can help you intense instantly shift your mood from negative to positive, and to decrease your depressive thoughts, anxiety and stress. Now that's what happens, like when you start doing meditation for some time, sometime like regularly for some days, maybe 10 minutes a day, and you will see the difference and you can feel the things which are happening in your body and in your mind just by regular practice. And next thing is like we have a, like many people complain that they have different things going on, like sorry, okay, I did. Okay. So generally what happens is when some people, they have uh, a habit to break, right? We generally when we do habit mastery program. So we teach meditation in the first or second, third session, right? Why? Because without having a positive force in your life, you can't break all the negative patterns which are going on in your mind and body. So in order to break that and to increase your willpower, we teach that. So meditation also helps you to develop self-control by regulating, like it, your emotions can be regulated, and it gives you an opportunity, a window to introspect about yourself and your surroundings. So these are the wonderful things which meditation can do. And then next thing comes, it improves your productivity. by increasing your focus, attention, and your ability to multitask. Like generally, when we teach about productivity, we try to like we generally speak that multitasking is a worst practice. Now the thing is, if your speed increases too much, then you can do multitasking by like it's like lateral thinking and being creative in too many areas. Like in decision making, we teach like you need to think into different paradigms in order to arrive the right decision. So that's what your ability to focus on that and to think simultaneously, which we call lateral thinking, it increases, and it helps you to be more creative. Okay, so that's what you're gonna get. And what else? Some other benefits like right now in this pandemic, everybody is talking about immunity, right? There is no medicine, so you need to be like you need to develop your immunity to such a level that the coronavirus won't affect you, right? And it's a weak virus because sometimes like it can't affect you if you have better immunity. If you have some other diseases going on, then you can't continue. So then you will be affected more. So the thing is, meditation, regular meditation can help you develop your immune system, and your sensitivity to pain also decreases. Now, if you in general, like in today's scenario, if you are having like regular fatigue and tiredness, and you feel a lot of pain whenever you are hurt in the physical levels, then by meditation it also helps you to decrease that. Now, I have a video. Maybe I'll show it today or maybe in the next session, in the next part of this session, which there are many people, many yogis who are doing different kind of exercises which are very difficult for us to do, right? Us means like common people. They can't do that, but they are doing it. So we're going to discuss some of them. And it increases your gray matter. Now, gray matter, we discussed a little bit in the second session, that gray matter is the matter which is like responsible for all the intelligence you have in your brain. If somebody has less gray matter, then he will face a lot of problems because his intellectual ability will be less. And for intellectual ability, we generally doctors they talk about increasing gray matter in your brain. Now we know that gray matter is a matter of it's coming from your certain body, your mind, intelligence, and ego. Because without that, you can't go further into that. So in the brain, everybody has the same hardware, but the problem is with the software, the operating system. So what meditation does is it helps you to use better, to use more resources of your brain, right? So that's what it does, and that's what you will find. Like we can take an example. Like in today's scenario, everybody is providing an Android phone. Now, an Android phone coming from Samsung and any other like Chinese company. So what the difference is, any branded company, they put a lot of effort in designing the firmware, because Android is an operating system, but it's not machine independent operating system. It's a you have to design a firmware. It's a matter of like it's a firmware because it is dependent on the hardware. So it is customized for an hardware of the mobile which they are designing. Now, you may find that other companies they provide cheaper phones and they have the same or maybe better hardware statistics, hardware configuration than these branded companies like Samsung. Now, still, your Samsung phone having less hardware configuration will work better, will hang less than these phones, which are cheaper and having configuration, hardware configuration, better processor, better RAM. Still, you find your phone handy, right? So the thing is, the difference is not in the hardware; it's in the two things. One is assembly of that hardware. Second is the firmware design, because the firmware which is properly designed for the particular hardware, it sticks together. It helps to work efficiently. And what happens in our scenario when we have uh, we do meditation and do all kind of spiritual things, these help us to increase our utility of the our ability to utilize our mental our brain resources. And that's what the scientists they discuss they define as gray matter. So your active brain is kind of gray matter, you can say, right? And we have discussed like we use less than 10% of our potential. So by meditation, you can increase that ability, your ability to use your brain. Now, next is it increases the volume in your brain in sections that relate to emotional regulation, positive emotions, and self-control. The different areas are there in the brain which works on different things. Now, when you have these things like you do meditation, then these areas in your brain are stimulated, and they help you to develop these qualities like regulation and positive emotion and self-control. What else you will get, like when you start doing meditation regularly, it increases your thickness in the areas which correspond with focus. Now if you know a little bit about neural networks, now what happens in the mind is there are different connections between the neurons which makes your ability to do certain things. Now when we are working on a skill, then there is a certain connection which is made in the brain between neurons, which we call neuro pathways. Now, these pathways, when you do practice that skill again and again, then it not only makes that skill automatic, but it also gives you one more thing: your ability to see things in that perspective increases. So, what you will find is many times, like when you are focusing on, you are doing something. Like take a general example: an engineer, an electronics, a computer engineer, he has an ability to see through the algorithms and ability to see the faults better than other people. Similarly, another person who is in electronics and communication engineering, he has a better way of seeing things in the circuit. Like it's a particular skill you are working on. So that's what we need to understand. So not only gives you it not only makes your skill automatic, but it also broaden your perspective on that particular area, right? That's what happens in the mind, in the brain. And what's the next thing is it lowers your health issues like blood pressure and all. It helps a lot, and it increases your blood flow and circulation, lower your cortisol level. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and it helps you to relax better, more, and increase your well-being. Now, why I'm discussing these things, because many people, when they don't know the benefits, they just try meditation as an entertainment process. Now, when you are approaching meditation as an entertainment process, you will be like two things are there. One is your intention to perform meditation. Now, if you are just approaching it as a casually, to be entertained by the process, you may or may not get the required result. And second thing is the proper procedure or proper strategy. There are some of the things which you need to take care of in order to start that. So that's another thing which you need to understand. So when you don't do these two things, then generally what happens is you will be disappointed by the results. So even if like and generally when we arrive, we set the intention to do meditation. First thing is commitment. You need to be committed to the process, doing it every day, and it just requires 5-10 minutes in the beginning. Now when you want to increase your practices, then you can do it gradually. Just start 5-10 minutes a day, and that has to be done consistent in order to get the consistent results. So that's what we need to understand. So keep these things in your mind, and that will help you to keep going in this process. Okay. Now, what about your effect of meditation on your memory? Now, this is the blue curve. Well, I think it's blue, what you call blue or gray, whatever. Now it shows when you take rest in the daytime. Now this is assumed that you are taking proper rest in the night time, complete 6 or 7 hours, whatever is required. Now the oxygen consumption. Now generally when your brain is active, the oxygen consumption is very high. Now we have taken the active state in the top part, which is set 0, right? Now as relaxation happens, your oxygen consumption should decrease. Now, generally, you will find the blue curve, it shows when you start taking rest. Now, when you take 1 hour of rest, it will decrease your oxygen level to certain levels, right? And if you take around 4 or 5 hours of sleep, then it will decrease up to 9 points. Now, when you do meditation, the left curve, yellow one, if you do meditation for 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, it decreases 16 level. There is no comparison. Like many people, they will be like, if you are attending some of the study courses and all, they generally recommend that you take a nap in the daytime at least once. Now, I also do recommend when I do study workshop. But meditation is more powerful than taking naps. Now, if you do 15-minute meditation, maybe twice a day, except the morning session, then you will feel tremendous change in your mental health and your ability to memorize something. Then you take naps or you do something else to relax your mind. Just 15 hours. And by the time we will end this session, you can start your practices and you can even join our meditation course in order to improve your meditation practices afterwards. So that's what you need to understand, that that is profound effect of meditating if you do it just for 15 minutes. That's the power. And that's what we have to understand. We don't need to do it for long hours. Now that's also one of the myths. Like you have to meditate for hours and hours. Now, if generally what happens when you start meditation, you may like it, and whenever you have free time, you may want to explore that scenario, that paradigm, and you may do it. But that's not. You don't need too much time to practice meditation. It just requires 10-15 minutes, maybe 5 minutes in the beginning, maybe 7 minutes. That's it. So, and generally what happens now, this is the brainwave chart of any human brain. Now, while when you do meditation, you generally get into the alpha zone. Now, let me describe the first, these waves, what they mean. Now, generally these waves are recorded by a special instrument in which all the signals in your brain are decoded in a on a on an average level of frequency, right? So they are combined, and finally they tell about the activity of the brain on the depending on these frequencies, and they are called brain waves. Now, in deep sleep, your brainwave frequency is less than 4, and that's what is called delta. Delta waves are very like they are less than 4 hertz, and the person, he is unaware of the environment, he doesn't know anything. That's what happens. Now generally I've not discussed it, but yeah, it's not ECG, it's EEG actually. I didn't mention it because it's a different term, but what happens is when you are sleeping, there are different levels of sleep. So first is, there are 4 levels. First and second, they are your light sleep, or you are kind of conscious of the environment. You can be woken up very easily. And level 3 and 4, they are deep sleep levels. Now you may find this scenario, like sometimes you are woken up when you wake up in the morning. If you have an experience when your sleep broke in the night. Now you woke up at say 4 o'clock and you were fresh, right? And then you decided that I want to go sleep and for 1 more hour. Okay, I'll wake up at 5 or maybe 5:30. And you have an alarm, which is your usual time. And at 5 o'clock, your alarm rings, and you are so tired at that time to wake up. And generally people, they have questions that just 1 hour before I was very much awake, what happened now? Now the thing is, when you were awake earlier, then it was like generally what happens, sleep cycle, it goes and comes out in around 90 minutes, or maybe 90 minutes generally, 90 minutes to 120 minutes. So that was the end of the sleep cycle, and it's easy to break the sleep and wake up at that time. Now when your alarm rang, you are just when in the current scenario you are in the delta state, and it's very difficult to come out of this delta state. So one of the things which we teach in productivity sessions, like I discussed earlier also, you need to manage both the things, your time and energy. So what we teach is how to understand the signals of the body, and how to uh, synchronize your timetable with your inner clock. So when you have inner clock aligned with your timetable, then you can use the best of, you can manage your time and you can manage your energy. So both the things can be managed very easily. So next thing is sleep and deep sleep. So these are the two levels. So up to 7 hertz is all about sleeping, right? Then from 8 to 12, and here it is mentioned 13, but generally it's 12, 11, 12. It's your awake state, and 8 to 11 is your alpha zone, between sleeping and awake. Now, this alpha zone, it's generally like we just generally get out of it very fast, very rapidly. And what we need to do is we have to stay in that zone, because learning is very profound in that state, that alpha state, right? So 8 to 11, between awake and sleep, is the zone generally we just rapidly go out of it. And that's the zone which gives you very profound understanding and learning of any material you are doing, because in that state you are relaxed and alert. Now that's relaxed alert state which helps you to develop these things, right? And then active zone is beta zone, where your mental activity is more. Now what you need to understand is, our learning is profound when you are in the alpha zone, and meditation keeps you in the alpha zone, and that's what we need. And another thing you need to understand is your level of mindfulness. That's you can for now, if you don't know about mindfulness, it's your ability to focus. It's not exactly, but that's what we're gonna define it now. Mindfulness is defined in few more, like after a few slides, in the types of meditation. So the thing is, mindfulness, it's a it's your ability to focus, and you can see that any person who is not meditating at all, he has general mindfulness level on 67. Now, as days are increasing, now in today's scenario, we have much less. This is a data from like 5, 10 years ago. So what happens is, like at that time, this paper was published at that time, and then I took it from there. Now, meditation, when a person who has never done that, it's generally average level is 67. Current scenario, you will find it 60 or below 60, because generally the attention span has been decreased for now. Now, if you do several times a year, like accidentally you walk up into a place where everybody is meditating, and you just get over there and you did the meditation part. Sorry, I think this microphone was on. So if you do several times a year, then you will have a mindfulness level up to 68. If you do several times a month, it will go up to 71. If you do several times a week, it will go around 74.5. And if you do it daily for the first year, you will get up to 77.5. And just imagine, if you keep on doing it for years after year after year, then your mindfulness can go up to 85 or 90 or maybe more. So the thing is, if you do it daily, your ability to focus on your studies or whatever material you want to study will increase. right? Now that's about your memory, and I don't want to discuss it, but I'll just tell you a little bit overview of that. Your conscious mind is your 10% of your ability, and that's why generally whenever we try something to do something consciously, we generally fail, and willpower comes from that part. So that's why you will always find that our willpower is insufficient, and it is because we have like very little amounts, insufficient, insignificant amounts of willpower. And that's why we have to choose wisely on which things we have to focus on and which things we have to let go. Of course, there are things by meditation and all, you can develop that willpower in a particular area, and then you don't even require willpower to continue that, right? So these things are there, which we will discuss maybe in the study or maybe in the productivity course. Then in subconscious mind, all the things which are there in the subconscious mind, meditation directly affects your subconscious mind. It changes those things from negative to positive. So now in generally that's in the course we discuss a lot about these things, but I think we should go further. Now let's go to the definition of meditation. This is the last part. I don't think I can do the demonstration today. So still we will discuss the definition and the origin at least, and we will do the first demonstration of the first type of meditation, and then we will let things go to the second part. Okay. So definition: what is meditation? Now I think you should reply now. What is meditation according to you? Because I want to know that before revealing those things. Okay. So tell me what is meditation according to you. Okay, mental exercise, letting thoughts to come in your mind without restriction. Thoughts? What kind of thoughts? Okay, not forcing to think. Any thoughts? Okay. Then how meditation will help you? Meditation means being peaceful. Okay. What else? Okay, let me define meditation now. Let's go. So, according to dictionary definition, the meditation is defined as ability to stay calm, be grounded, and stabilize their or your thought process. That's what, like, it's your ability. And dictionary says continuous and profound contemplation or musing on the subjects or a series of subjects of a deep abstract nature. So generally it's in the spiritual terms. So another definition you will find is contemplation of spiritual matters. Now, how I define meditation is the practice of transcending the material plane and accessing the spiritual plane. Now, what does these things mean? Material plane is the plane in which we live, and we generally have you will find one scenario that we live in a mundane world, having like our thought pattern is set. We have a regular thoughts of same kind of thoughts every day, and we have generally what happens is we live in a mundane world where everything is done on a automatic autopilot on our autopilot system. So meditation helps you to transcend that perspective or that plane and takes you to the next level. And some people they call it tranquility, peacefulness, whatever you call it, that doesn't matter. But that's what meditation helps you to get. It helps you to transcend that current plane in which you are living and access the higher platform which is there, which can which you want to access, but it's not possible through any mundane practice. So that's what meditation is all about. We're going to discuss a little bit more in the later slides. Now, origin of meditation, there are two origins primarily. Now, if you go to the history of meditation, then Hinduism or Vedic culture is the oldest practice of meditation, and they are the, like in the Vedic society, we found that people, they were doing meditation on the daily basis, and all the spiritualists in the Vedic society, they have these spiritual practices. There are different kind of spiritual practices. Now, if you have read some of the spiritual books, if you are in India, you have experienced some of the things. May not like experience it, but you know a little bit about it. There are different kind of meditations which we call yoga, and right now yoga means anything. Like there is yoga for everything. Even the exercises are also included in that. But earlier it was not like that. There were different levels and different types of yogas defined in the Vedas, and they deal with a particular intent, a particular kind of person to get a particular kind of achievement or result. So that's how profound Vedic meditation is. Okay. Now, next is we need to understand that the Vedic people, they were so much dependent on meditation that they have discovered different ways to experience deeper level spiritual platform in through different processes, and their authority is mainly Vedas. Okay, so and second part was Buddhism, and they started with Gautam Buddha, who got a realization under the Bodhi tree, because you are from here, nearby places, so you know that's in Gaya. Now, that meditation is mainly about mindfulness. Now, we're going to discuss mindfulness is what is mindfulness. So, they mainly focus on that. And a variation of Buddhism, now, Zen is not a variation, it's generally Zen is it's a Buddhism, proper Buddhism meditation. So I learned Zen way back a decade earlier, maybe in 2010 or 11. Now, another variation is Tao. Tao is just being mindfulness in the activities, not in the Buddhism way, but in the activities you are doing. So generally, you don't get anything other than mindfulness in Buddhism, and generally, all other people who are teaching, they are kind of hybrid of both the things. Here, we're going to discuss properly the what the Buddhism thing is, and then properly the Hinduism thing is. Both kind of meditation, and both have a certain advantages and benefits. So what I feel is we can take benefit of both, and sometimes you will find that Hinduism, like Vedic meditation, it's kind of advanced. So if you do that, then all of the other things, all of the other benefits are already given to you as a side effect. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. And let's go a little bit further. Now, that's the first type of meditation. It's not meditation, it's mainly like being aware of it. So mindfulness is it being consciously aware of something. That's what the literal meaning is. Now, what we do in mindfulness is we develop a mental state by focusing our awareness on our thoughts, on our feelings, our bodily sensations. Then these things, like when we start working on that, we spend some time um, you can say like being aware of these things, being conscious of our body, our mind, and our environment. Then the next step is to restrict ourselves in the present moment, because generally what happens is our mind, it has two wings, we can say, but generally it's not the part of mindfulness, it's a part of Upanishads. In the Vedic scriptures, it is mentioned that our mind is like a bird. and it has two wings, just two, no more, no less. One wing is of past, and one wing is of future, right? And generally, what happens? Your mind, you will either find yourself dwelling in the past, mistakes or things could have done better in the past, so you regret about your past. That's the first thing your mind goes to. And the second thing is the insecurity or daydreaming about your future. So we can either we either live in past or live in future. Thinking about things could have been done better in the past. So it's like lamentation of past and fear of future. What will happen in the future? So generally it is said that if you want to control that bird of mind, you just have to cut the two wings. Or in better way, you have to bind those wings so that you use those wings whenever required. For other times you just bind them. So whenever we need to think about future and plan, we just open those wings, and the at that time you need to think about your past also for planning, because things you have done in the past, you have to learn from that and apply it in the future for planning. So at that time you just let the bird fly. For other time you just keep him there in the present moment. So that's what we have to do in mindfulness. It's a very crude way. So what we have to do is first being aware of things, and then second thing is when we need to be aware of our feelings and then restrict ourselves in the present. Now I want to do that demonstration. I don't know whether you are in a noisy environment or a calm one. So just find a comfortable place, and find a place where like you won't be disturbed by somebody for maybe 5 minutes or so, and stay there. Like it's better to sit, not to lie down, because either I will be speaking and you will be in deep sleep afterwards. So there is a danger of falling asleep. So spend some time, just find a comfortable space to sit with a back support, and close your eyes. We have like we are running short of time, so we have 2 minutes for that. And we don't go into the mental feelings and thinking process. You have to take care of two things. First, your bodily sensations, okay, and second, the thoughts which are arriving in your mind, okay. So you have to think about you have to try to think about nothing. Just try to blank your mind for 2 minutes, and better if you close eyes, because if you have a like open eyes, then you will be seeing the screen and you have problems with that. Keep your earphone on, because I will mute my earphone, and then after 2 minutes I'll just switch it on and start speaking, then you know when you have to come back. So focus on two things: being aware of your thoughts, at the same time trying to let the thoughts pass away, okay. So two things you have to do: being conscious of your bodily sensations, what is happening in your body. You don't have to be like focused from head to toe. You just have to be random, and whatever takes up your attention, just let your attention go to that part of the body. And second thing is you need to be aware of the thoughts you are having in the mind, okay. So your time starts now. Find a comfortable place and take 2 minutes. Okay, so you can bring yourself back whenever you are ready, and you can write in the chat box that you are able to hear me and you are not still in that state. Bring yourself back and type yes in the chat box when you are back. Are you able to hear me? Okay, then. Okay. So, so how was your experience? How many thoughts did you get? And what kind of like? How was your experience? Was it effortless or difficult to do? What happened? Okay, a lot of thoughts, difficult. Okay. So, what we need to understand is this is one of the things, right? So much deviation is there. Now, that's why you will find that Buddhism and the Zen meditation, that's it is difficult. And that's what we have, like I found that the problem with this part is awareness doesn't solve any problem. And the thing is, it is difficult to practice it because you require a lot of mind control to get rid of it. Now, those of you who thought about breaths and all, now breathing doesn't come into that. So that's the next level. It's a when you try to be focus of your breathing. Now, that's not what it is. It is concentrative thing, which we're gonna discuss in the next part. Concentrative meditation. Now, I think we should stop over here. In the next part, we're gonna discuss about other three types of meditation and how to get best out of everything and which meditation approach we should use while living in a daily life and to do it in a very quick manner. So that's what we're going to discuss in the next session. So any questions for now? You have a time to ask questions. So any questions you have regarding the things we have discussed, you can ask now. Meditation means focus on the subject. Subject will disturb one's mind. Okay. So any questions? You can ask now. Hmm. And if you don't have questions, say no. At least then I will be clear about it. Okay. What about Ashtanga yoga? Actually, we will cover that afterwards in the next type of meditation when we go to Vedic meditation things. Then we will cover Ashtanga. And when is the next session? Next session is Sunday, same time, like 4 o'clock. And Kriya Yoga will come into that. Don't worry. So we will discuss Kriya and Ashtanga. These two are very actually there is a different types of meditation. So Kriya and Ashtanga they are defined into a different Vedic scriptures. So we can discuss that, and we will just give an overview. And if you have other things which we can like, I can take all of you who are interested in going deeper into that into our meditation course. You can enroll over there, and we will discuss in detail about these things. Okay. Will you will show how to do it? Of course, I will. Or like today. Actually, we discussed the process and to do how to do it, you have to come one on one with me because these meditation techniques like Ashtanga yoga and Kriya yoga, they are there in the detailed session of meditation course. So I'll teach you one on one, no problem with that. Okay. So we have meditation sessions in the morning. So we teach one on one. How can we do meditation so that our meditation continue for a long time? Actually, for that you have to You have to do it like you start with small duration, and then gradually you go to develop that thing in order to do it for longer sessions. So everything starts over there. And okay, I'm very curious about that. Curious Kriya Yoga. Sure. Okay, we can say have one session. If others are not interested, only you are interested, we can discuss over phone. No problem. Okay. So after Sunday, you have a basic overview of that, and then we can discuss that on phone how to do it. Okay. When I think about extrinsic and extrinsic motivation, okay, that's about from the third session. All of mine were for short term and no permanent on how can permanent hobby be developed. Okay, so after Sunday we have a QA call on all the four sessions. So you can ask that question over there, and I will tell you about. Actually, this mainly this issue is not about the motivation. It is about your processing and your goal setting. So your goal setting method has to be evolved. So when you evolve that, then you can develop. Right now, it's not about like motivation is as a tool. For that, you have to develop that goal setting procedure. You have to set the right kind of goal in order to think in that direction. So this is a problem with goal setting, not with the motivation. So maybe we can have a different session on goal setting, and then we can go for that. Okay. So any other question? Yes, no? Okay, no. Thank you. So Sunday, same time, we're gonna start, and then
Are you got a question?
well, I am. So I didn't get the question. Okay, you can ask that personally to me. I go Ranchi earlier when the travel was there. I used to go every week, and now again afterwards when the travel is okay, then I will be visiting every week. So yeah, that is.
3 days in Ranchi.
So I stay around 3 days in Ranchi, and then for this 4 days somewhere else, other places. Okay, so in Bhagalpur also in Delhi. So thank you very much. I think we should end over here. And next session will be on Sunday, same time,
Same application.
and maybe same application because there we are having some technical difficulties. So you'll get a message, of course. Okay, then. Thank you.